The story begins with two close friends, Alan and Ray, arriving at an airport located in the Arctic region of Norway. They're there to work on an adventure show. Alan is the director, while Ray is the on-screen host. Upon reaching the port, they're introduced to Sean, a man they recently hired just 2 days ago to act as their cameraman. Though Sean has a military background, he has no experience working on travel productions. Once everyone boards the boat, a cheerful tour guide named Jim welcomes them. The other passengers, coming from different parts of the world, seem to enjoy Jim's enthusiastic energy.
That is baby rolling!
Later that day, Ray joins Alan in the ship's dining area to chat about their current project and what brought them all the way from America. While talking, Ray notices Sean's lunchbox on the table. Opening it out of curiosity, he discovers high-tech sound gear inside. When he listens in, he hears what sounds like whales. Ray convinces him to try listening too. Moments later, they quickly return the equipment to its place just before Sean returns. Soon after, the group heads out to shoot the opening sequence for their show with Jim at the dock. Just as they finish filming, Ray spots a seagull with bloody eye sockets. Though disturbed by the sight, he doesn't dwell on it. He later finds Alan at the bar, looking downcast, and tries to lift his spirits. The tension is interrupted when a commotion arises outside. The tourists are watching in horror as a walrus violently kills its own calf on an iceberg. To shift the mood, Jim announces a barbecue on the dock, serving local whale meat. While others indulge, Ray refuses to try it, calling it disgusting. Alan eats the whale meat but soon complains of stomach pain and excuses himself to the restroom. Later, Ray and Alan are at the back of the boat having a quiet moment. Sean is off filming the guests, but out of nowhere, the entire group disappears. Sean looks around in confusion, only to find the boat completely deserted. When Alan and Ray return to the dock, they're equally puzzled by the eerie silence and abandoned belongings. They search the entire vessel, but there's no trace of the others. The three regroup to discuss what could have happened. Sean insists he's just as clueless. He tries to call for help from the engine room, but fails to get a signal. Meanwhile, Alan, alone on the dock, suddenly begins coughing up blood. Ray, exploring the captain's deck, finds a radio and tries to send an SOS, but receives no reply. Using binoculars, he spots a nearby settlement. He tells Sean, and they decide to prepare a raft to get there. Alan, still on the dock, finds a tourist camera and watches some strange footage, which only deepens his confusion. Ray returns to call him to the raft, but notices a deep wound on Alan's neck that he hadn't realized was there. After tending to it, the three set out together. Once ashore, Sean suggests staying close as he feels something is amiss. They begin exploring the quiet, deserted town and soon enter a building with an empty swimming pool. Strange noises lead them down a corridor where they find a wounded stag, bleeding from its mouth. Everyone was left confused and frustrated by the entire incident.
This is not some travel incident, okay? A supernatural event occurred here, Ray.
As they keep searching, they come across a building with a television showing static. Ray, frustrated, kicks it, hoping for something more useful. Alan then collapses in pain. He rolls up his pant leg to reveal another wound. Seeing his deteriorating condition, Sean suggests he and Ray continue searching without Alan. Alan agrees to stay behind, too weak to go on. After they leave, Alan, disoriented, wanders off into the snowy landscape, where he encounters a polar bear. Surprisingly, the animal doesn't attack. Instead, it simply walks away. Oddly, the bear also appears injured. Elsewhere in the town, Ray and Sean discover a building with several lit windows. Thinking someone might be inside, they go in and split up. Sean hears music and enters a room to find a vinyl record playing on a turntable. Ray finds a hot bowl of soup sitting untouched on a table. As he tries to process everything, he sees a flare fired into the sky. He rushes outside and finds Alan, alive but exhausted. Ray brings Alan back inside. Meanwhile, Sean opens the lunchbox and listens to the audio again, though it's unclear what he hears. Alan begins reviewing the camera footage he found earlier, and now uncovers something that explains the mystery. He tries to share it with Ray, but is interrupted by Sean. Ray tells Sean they must return to the boat quickly, especially because of Alan's worsening condition. Sean objects, warning that the journey back is long and weather-dependent, but Ray insists and sets off to find fuel. After Ray departs, Sean approaches the weak Alan and places the headphones on him. The moment he starts playing the recording, Alan dozes off, but soon he wakes up screaming in agony. Ray returns and rushes to help. Alan begs him to watch the video on the camera. Ray watches and sees footage of Sean recording on the dock at the exact moment everyone vanished. Enraged, he confronts Sean and forces him to explain. Sean confesses that he's a mercenary sent on this trip to capture footage of a supersonic weapon's effects. According to him, the weapon may have vaporized or mutated the passengers, but he isn't certain. His view was obscured during the event. Sean says the device in the lunchbox acts as a shield from the weapon's radiation. That's why Ray and Alan weren't affected. They listened to it earlier. However, Alan's health declined because he ate the whale meat, which had been contaminated. Sean emphasizes that the device can only prevent harm, not reverse it. He also reveals he was supposed to be extracted, but his satellite phone failed. Ray is shocked by the revelation. As Alan weakens, Ray encourages him to stay strong, but Alan knows his end is near. He records a farewell message for his wife and kids, asking his son to take care of his mother. He gives Ray the phone and urges him to survive and deliver the message. Fearing he might not make it either, Ray seals the camera and other evidence in a waterproof bag and throws it into the ocean, hoping someone will find it. At last, Sean's device receives a message. Extraction will arrive in 30 minutes. Ray becomes hopeful again and quickly prepares to take Alan to safety. Using a wheelbarrow, Ray carries Alan through the cold. They stop to rest in a building where Sean announces he'll head to the extraction site alone. He promises to try and get help for Alan. Moments after Sean leaves, Alan dies in Ray's arms. Overcome with grief, Ray sobs at the tragic end to what was supposed to be just a filming trip. Sean reaches the extraction point but is abruptly shot in the head. Hearing the gunshot, Ray grabs the rifle in fear. A nearby phone begins to ring, but the film leaves us uncertain whether Ray answers. The final image shows the waterproof bag floating silently in the ocean, carrying the truth that might never be discovered. The truth may be lost at sea, but your support keeps stories like this alive. Like, share, and subscribe if this one left you thinking.